I'm not in the right company, so I got to keep it down to a reasonable level. And I also got to watch my clearing my throat. That sounds obnoxious. Okay. What Christian Walters found out, it was merging the title, the equity and the legal title, collapsing the trust, and that's what we need to do on a birth certificate. That's
no,
the
it
idea.
isn't. No, it isn't. Don't even mention trust. This is Patrick.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I got another issue. What about when we record these? We record them under special deposit.
No. It's all in the bankruptcy court, and I will go over that. Okay?
All right.
You got the recording going, Tom?
Yeah, I having computer problems. I'm calling out on my mobile, so I can't do all my normal controls. But yes, the recording is going.
Okay.
But if people have background noise, I can't detect it and shut it off. Well, maybe I can do that, but I can't do much else.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go ahead, Patrick. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. Some of the problems we've had, basically, is a lot of misconception going out there. Christian Walters is one that's misunderstanding what is going on, okay? The other is, basically, people don't understand how to read the Constitution and what the Constitution is in this country. Where's the king? Where's the emperor of America, of the United States of America? It isn't the president. He's just an agent. The Constitution is the emperor of America. A contracted corporate sole person. Okay? All the other president, secretary of state, attorney general, they are all agents of the emperor. The foundation of the United States of America was not only based upon the setup of what they had under the kingship in England. They also looked to how the Japanese and the Chinese operated under the emperor system. There's more than one system out here that has been in place. But they didn't want to have a physical person as the emperor. So they put it into a constitution. We the people did. But we haven't upheld to keep enforcing the Constitution, because you got to think about this. You got a land patent when you were of the age of 1. You are a prince of the land of the United States of America. You are a prince, the principal. You're supposed to claim your inheritance. You were given a land patent for your body. Body of land and all associated persons that go with that body of land. They belong to you under that land patent that was issued by the emperor by the Constitution. That original 13th Amendment that basically everybody is so up in arms about the title of nobility, that was being set up to take away our titles of nobility from us. It was there to deceive us from being an American prince or principality of the land. It was also there to try and deceive us and prevent us from claiming our American empire inheritance. and land body patent and are just emoluments. EMOLUMENTS, which is a compensation for our services to the empire, the United States of America, during our lifetime. Now, the 14th Amendment came in, and basically they picked up our SAC, our birth date, SAC, BIRTH date SAC, date of birth SAC, DOB SAC. And when you read the definition of SAC, you will see what it says in the process. Okay, I mentioned this before about what it says about SAC. Okay, where in the hell is it? SAC, a bag, plunder, a fund in the purposes of corruption. That's where they're holding our assets. Under our person, who is the creditor to the United States, aboard a district vessel. The vessel hold number is that 3-digit number that's on your certificate of live birth. You have two accounts. One under the DOB, date of birth, which is basically the month, 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and then 4 digits for the year. That date is also corrupted. Because in the real world, it's not month, day, year, it's day, month, year. See, little things you've got to look for. The clues that are out here. That's 8 digits. Now you have your 3-digit vessel number, which is a United States, and basically on the B-10 form, the debtor is United States All Capital Corporation, owner of the district, and then your 3-digit number, bankrupt vessel. They're the obligor, care of the U.S. Department of the Treasury. But you have to take this into bankruptcy. Now, your fictional person that's on that certificate of live birth, and they use in a lot of cases last name first, then first name, then your middle initial. Also, AKA, like in my case, Divine, Patrick P. Or just Divine, Patrick. It all depends on how they want to use it, but my AKA is all capital Patrick Divine. That's normally where the bill or the payments and everything go to, is to the all capital name person. Now, he's a United States merchant seaman obligee, and his number is DOB, and then in my case it's 03/02/1949. He is the guarantor. I just got a hospital bill from the University of Iowa, the University of Iowa Hospital Clinic, And what they have? They had down that's Divine, Patrick P. And it was the guarantor's account number. Well, I'm not the guarantor. My fiction is. He is the creditor. We are not the creditor. Because we haven't claimed our patent yet and brought him home. Now, the notice and everything that needs to go out needs to go to the office of the U.S. trustee. There's no trust here, but there's a trustee, and he is the bankruptcy 114 agent for that bank district bankrupt vessel. Then you put down the name and address of where the payment goes to. And the basis for the claim. I am claiming for my creditor the obligation credits from which the duty of support is owed by the vessel owner. When I was in the service, okay? I was in the Navy. I served aboard submarines. I also served aboard carrier, the Intrepid that's now the museum up in New York City. But I was a seaman on that vessel. I did services for the vessel owner, the United States Navy. The United States Navy owed a duty of support to me, to pay me. But they processed it through my fictional person over to me. You just don't see how in their corporate commercial world the funds all really go. You think they're coming right to you. No, you're signing as the authorized agent. Look at your checks. You're signing as the authorized agent for your creditor. And then you're taking this United States corporation, District 114, whatever your number is, bankrupt vessel, into an involuntary bankruptcy settlement action. You can put down that basically in the secured claim that basically the set-off is from the creditor's Social Security, Medicaid insurance policy for your SSN number. Don't put the full SSN number in there. XXX-XX- you put the last four digits. In line 3, it says last four digits of any number which the creditor identifies the debtor. Our creditor is a seaman or employee upon that vessel. The vessel whole number is 114, whatever, your three-digit number, and then your birth date. You put down the year that you were birthed, BIRTH date.
The investigator, Tom Byer, has 4 tonight.
You've got 8 digits there. 2 for the the month, 2 for the day, and 4 for the year. 8 digits. You add the other 3 for the vessel number, and lo and behold, you've got 11 digits. A account number. A banking account number. You come down and basically you can put in contributions to an employee's benefit plan, or you can just put down domestic support obligation. But you can look up those 11 U.S.C. Section 507 chapters and see which one you want to go with. Then you come down, you put a copy of the bill or whatever in with it, a copy. Don't put the original. Then in the signature block, you do not mark, I am the creditor. You're not. You mark the next one over, I am the creditor's authorized agent. You're not a trustee or debtor or any of the other shit. Then you put your name, Mr. or Mrs., first and middle name, semicolon, your last name, or your family name. As you are the authorized agent or representative. Pretty simple once we see what's going on here. But you have to look at what it says about duty of support. Look it up in Ballantyne's dictionary. The very last definition that is in there under duty of support. The United States bankrupt corporation has a duty to give us the support that we claim for our creditor. Our creditor can't claim it. We have to claim it for him. This is basically covered under the Shipping Act, or the Shipping Title 46, Chapter 73. Your Merchant Seaman's Discharge Book. And documents. You've got it right here. You just take that bill, you take your receipts, you do it the same way. Now, you can have the bill sent to you, the payment made to you now from your creditor. But see, we were trying to place our fictional person as being the debtor in the system. No, he's the creditor in their commercial system. In the real world, yes, he's a debtor to us, but we're not operating in the real world. We're operating on the other side of the looking glass. We've got to get the assets from the bankrupt, from the real debtor, over to our fiction, or the corporation debtor, over to our person, and see, we own that person. But he's employed by them right now on board a vessel. And then we can have the assets sent right over to us. We can go in and have, you get a window sticker now, and send it in and have the payment made right to that car dealership. There is no trust in this country. The only thing that it says, in God we trust. You are the God. And when you get your assets, you place them in your safety. You trust them to yourself. You don't trust them to anybody else. You don't set up a trust. You keep them in your private enterprise estate. You put them in a coffee jar in the backyard or whatever. Or you go and redeposit them into the emperor's treasury, which is the treasury of the United States of America, the depository treasury, not the depository treasury under the Department of the Treasury. When you look at that original 13th Amendment, the way it was either written by a couple complete nitwits that thought they were trying to keep the attorneys out of the country. Well, that didn't do it. That wasn't what was going on with that statement. It says, if any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall, without the consent of Congress, accept or retain any present, pension, office, or emolument of any kind whatever from any emperor, king, prince, or foreign power. Well, if the Constitution is an emperor, basically, it falls right in there. We can't claim anything from the United States of America. We just been cut off. This was really put into place by the bankers and the monarchs out of Europe to try and put this in to destroy the nobility and honor of the people of this country. The Supreme Court had to take it off the books. Because it would have prevented the United States of America emperor, the Constitution, from giving us our bodily land patents and service emoluments. Compensation for service. That's what emoluments mean. And that is lawful. The lawful gain or profit which arises out of your princely office. I don't ever want to hear anybody ever mention the word trust to me again. I will probably basically punch them out. I don't care what type of trust it is. There is nothing good about a trust. You're giving your assets over to somebody else, and that is total. You're an idiot. You're insane. So if you want to be insane, and after you get this stuff out of their system, more power to you. I can only address what I see. But basically, just like all the Hebrews down through the history in the Bible, they kept screwing up and going right back into the damn system. Very few people really understand this stuff and stay in honor and stay out of their system. You don't need their bullshit. And that's all that you're getting from is bullshit. The driver's license, okay? A good one on that. You are a passenger in the vehicle. If you have a certificate of title to the vehicle, the state owns the vehicle. If you have a driver's license, your fictional person is the operator. Simple thing. Yeah, you may turn the key, but you're not operating the vehicle. The vehicle is really operating itself. You're sort of guiding it one way. Perfect example of this. Are you the owner of an elevator? Are you the operator of the elevator? No. The electronic boxes are the operating of the elevator. The building that has that elevator in it, they're the owner of the elevator. You're just there along for the ride. You're a passenger. Even though you pushed the button, you didn't do all the operations to make that elevator go. The electronic switches and everything all did that. You are a guest in motor vehicle. You're enjoying the hospitality of the owner or operator of a motor vehicle. Yeah, the driver's license is for the operator. The fiction. The certificate of title to the vehicle is the owner's title of ownership. And you thought you owned it. No, you're just along for the ride. You're just a guest or a passenger. Now, use that in court, and basically that will really stump those damn guys. But you've got to come in and do a counter claim against them. And Tom has some audios there. I'll tell him which one it is later. That the guy is going through and telling about using counter claims and winning court cases. And this was years ago that he was saying this. You have to come in and do a counter claim even against the bank on a mortgage. They are the garnishee, not a trustee, a garnishee. They have garnished your assets. Now, they're the ones that are obligated, and that obligation is also an oath. That's the oath that they have to comply with. You can look it up in obligation in Ballantyne's dictionary, and you'll see oath sitting right there. You're not looking for an oath of office because these guys are not office holders in their commercial endeavor. They're just placeholders. For what they're doing to you. The county prosecutor, whatever. The U.S. attorneys. They're basically the garnishees for that United States bankrupt vessel. And then you have the U.S. U.S. and U.S. is basically what is patented on the damn asses of horses and stuff like that for the U.S. Army. It's a brand. It doesn't stand for the United States of America. It stands for the corporate, all capital, United States, copyrighted corporation, a foreign copyrighted corporation. We were close, but we were trying to, as the living, trying to be the creditor in their system. No, it's our fictional person who is the creditor in their system, and then it's the United States corporation that is the debtor. Now you will start being able to bring down the national bankrupt debt. The corporate national bankrupt debt that's owed to the people. Any questions? Star 6 if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question.
I've only muted a couple people, Patrick.
Huh?
And I've only muted a couple people. Most of the people are open. I see where you're going with this, but I need to go back over the call with the B10 form in front of me and go through it very clearly.
Yeah, I should have told you to pull out a B10 form and write down in the name of the debtor, United States Corporation, owner of the District 114 or whatever, bankrupt vessel. And they're the obligor. And then they're in care of the U.S. Department of the Treasury. That is not, and that's the depository treasury. And they're holding our credits, just like the U.S. Navy basically owed me my paycheck when I was in the service. But it was funneled through my bankrupt person, and then I signed as, I didn't know I was signing that way, but I was signing as the authorized agent for the creditor. Because they could only make a payment to the creditor, and I'm not the creditor. Now, our patent that we were given, that we haven't claimed yet, also includes our land, body, land, estate, and all of our associated persons. They belong to us per our patent. But we've misplaced them out here and not claimed the patent.
So it's a combination of the B10 and the update of the patent that is removing the role of creditor from the bankrupt person and returning it to us?
You have two accounts. One is under the DOB, okay?
Right.
The other one is basically the last 8 digits, the patent number on the certificate of live birth after you've gotten the patent. They're both on board, and they're both employees of the vessel, that bankrupt district vessel. The first 3 digits on your certificate of live birth. Now, if you have a selective service number, you also have a military district bankrupt vessel. A different 3-digit number in the beginning of it. Then you have 8 digits. 2 digits for the county, 2 digits for the year, the last 2 digits of your year, and then basically a 4-digit account number for a total of 8 digits. You add 3 to 8, and you've got an 11-digit account number. Now, your Social Security number is nothing more than basically the routing number for your insurance policies. Your driver's license number is nothing but the insurance policy for that driver's license. But it's held under your DOB, your date of birth account. You always had to give your date of birth for everything you did out there. BIRTH. Not your American patented birthing date, which is 90 days later. That's how you hide in the system. And you stop being the surety out there. You step out of the footsteps of the BIRTH, and you put your feet down on the ground 3 months later. Because your mother carried you around, even though she brought you out of her birth sac, or birth canal, and got you out of the birth sac, she still carried you around for about 3 months until you put on too damn much baby fat, and she got tired of carrying you, and she put you down on the ground and said, start crawling and working it off, you little fat shit. That's when you were 1 year old. 1 year from your date of conception. Your 1 year anniversary. Your royal 1 year right of inheritance. This is all right in the Bible, too. And the only time that the Hebrews ever got in trouble was when they turned around and started doing trustee and trust and all that shit. So if you want to get in trouble, just like the Old Testament Hebrews, just go for it. Use all that trust shit. But you will be a ghost to their system, to their corporate system, when you step out of the BIRTH date, footsteps, and step over into the BERTH date, footsteps. They won't see you any longer. Hopefully I made this point very clear to you people. Otherwise, yeah, I went through a bunch of your stuff that you sent to me, Tom, those audios and everything, and for the most part, the guys were somewhat close, but like Bill Thornton and stuff, they were still missing the big picture.
Okay. It was a Bill Turner, you mean?
No, Bill Thornton, basically the guy down in Arizona or whatever.
Okay, he's a common law guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard anything of his. Okay.
Yeah, and basically, you've got some audios there on that stick that you sent to me.
Okay, good. Yeah, I still got a copy of what I sent you.
And most of these guys, yeah, some of them just think I love to talk. I really don't. I'm getting tired of talking. I just talk because I'm trying to work my way through the system, and the more I talk about it, the more I understand about the system. That's one of the only reasons I'm doing this, because it helps me to keep a better grasp on it. And we've done all the trustee stuff out there in the past. We've done the probate. We've done the estate. We've done all this other stuff, but we never did anything about patent, territorial patent. And that Constitution is the emperor, and it's a territorial emperor. That is the law of the land, is the Constitution. The emperor of the land. And we are just princes or princesses of the land. In the living, not in the fictional debtor position or fictional creditor position. Yes, our fictional creditor is a debtor to us, but he's a debtor to us in the real world, and the bankruptcy form does not address that. That is between you and him. But you have to come in as the authorized agent for him to be able to get the funds transferred from the real debtor, the corporate United States bankrupt vessel that's holding your assets in a burst sack. Now, you play around with the hospitals, and basically you'll find a lot of this shit out. Just little things. You need to open your eyes and see what they're really telling you in a lot of this stuff. Misspelling your name. Putting the date down wrong. Go and look at the date, how the date on the Constitution was signed. It was signed day, month, year.
Mm.
You always start from the lower and go to the higher.
Almost every legal document is signed that way, too.
Yes, that is in the lawful system, not the legalese system.
Okay. Could you send us a copy of that hospital's bill so that we could see how you found the clues?
Do you ever get a little sticker on your arm when you go into the hospital or anything like that?
Yeah.
It's got your name, and then what does it have? D.O.B., all capital. And then it's got your birth date.
Okay.
Month,
Yeah, like
day, year.
That's the way it is on my prison bracelet.
Huh?
That's the way it is on my prison bracelet.
You're
Yeah, that little
overloaded.
bracelet.
Yeah. When they put me in jail, they put a bracelet around your wrist to identify you.
Yeah.
They got the date of birth on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your driver's license. Here in the state of Iowa, the only thing that is red on that driver's license is DOB.
Okay.
You go into the hospital there periodically, Tom. Look at your bills.
I've hardly ever been in the hospital.
Well, not the hospital, but basically to a doctor's office and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've got some of those. I'll look at those.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. That's interesting. Good. I'll do that.
Same system. The doctors are all putting a charge against your DOB. Not against your Social Security account, but against your DOB. The DOB was the first account you had.
Yep.
The patent number didn't come until 90 days later.
Right.
So they had to have an account number to operate with for you there before. Then when you got your patent number, they also put another fiction into the system because you never claimed your patent. So the first one started out as a seaman. Now he went up to a seaman first class aboard the vessel. And then if you went in the military service, you became a ensign aboard the vessel. So you got 3 employees upon the vessel. Now there's 2 different vessels. And basically that's why they had to use the 3-digit code, because it allowed for them to have 999 numbers. But there's really 96 federal district, territorial districts, and then there's 96, at least 96 military districts, vessels. So the United States Corporation has a whole fleet of vessels. But our bankrupt person is not a vessel. He is just a seaman or an employee, as the obligee aboard that vessel doing service. And then it is basically the duty of support owed by the vessel owner to our creditor. Not benefit, but duty of support. They're the ones that are getting the benefit of using our assets. The vessel owner is. So stop thinking that you're getting any damn benefits, because you ain't getting shit. And then you let them do the set-offs in their corporate system of checks and everything, sending them out to these other people like universities. They've already got the money, but basically they'll send them a check, and basically then it'll be deducted from what they owe back to the corporation. But you don't need to worry about that. You just need to worry about how to fill out the B-10 form correctly. I'll post an example of this up tomorrow.
Good.
Try to tomorrow to you, Tom.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But that does not prevent you shitheads out there from asking some damn questions right now. God damn it. I said I get tired of talking. I want you guys to start asking some questions. Act like you're alive and not the dead entity. The fiction. Step out of his footsteps.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes.
Yeah, just backtrack just a little bit. I was looking at your identification card that you made up.
Yeah.
I was reading a little bit, and it says, when making up your photo ID, you must place a disclaimer on the ID, such as not a government-issued identification.
Where'd you get that bullshit?
This is coming under information dealing with land patents, allodial titles. And it says that this step is necessary due to the fact that Congress has passed a law stating that it is flawed for anyone to carry a non-governmental identification card without the disclaimer, unless you consider yourself a governmental unit.
Yes, that is corporate bullshit. It's scare tactics. That's what you're trying to come out from. Stop reading all their garbage. That's in the damn codes of law.
Yeah, they're making ID that says you're dead.
Yeah, they don't want competition. Does that make any damn sense whatsoever?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I was just asking a question, just making sure.
Oh.
I can rebut just about everything you're going to come up with.
Their rules apply to them, too. I mean, it applies to government employees.
Yeah, and see, in a lot of cases, they can't deal with the living unless you get them basically in the back room, take off their black robe, meet them down at the coffee shop, and talk to them. %90 of those damn congressmen can't follow the damn Constitution anyway. They're all breaking the damn Constitution right now if they're in there in office more than one term in a row. Yeah, the Constitution did not allow for continuous governmental service in these elected offices. They were supposed to come in and serve for a little while and then go home and work their butts off on their damn plantation or their estate. But they weren't to go out there and sit their ass off in Washington, D.C. and be pedophiles of little children. And then get whack and hut mentality law enforcement agents in there that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground to protect them. That they can't even read the damn Constitution. Told the U.S. Marshal when I met with him, when the postal inspector came, said, hey, you want to arrest somebody? Go arrest Chuck Grassley. He's in violation of the damn Constitution. Didn't faze him one bit.
Who's Chuck Grassley?
He's senator here in the state of Iowa. He's been in there about 30-some years straight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody thinks Ron Paul is such a constitutionalist. He can't even read the damn Constitution. How many terms has he been in there as a House of Representative? Continuous.
Yeah, I'm going to review what you said about the 13th Amendment. There's a lot of key information right there, what you talked about.
Yeah. And see, people don't understand. We don't have a king, an outright living person as a king or emperor in this country. So who is the emperor or the king in this country? The sovereign. It's the Constitution. We, the people, gave that power to the Constitution, to that piece of paper, to that title of nobility, being the Emperor of America. And he has no clothes.
Really, and I don't think they're supposed to create agencies that are not listed as, in there. They're reserved by the people and the states respectively. That doesn't mean they can come up with Department of Homeland Security. I was kind of happy.
They're all under the corporate bankrupt.
Yeah.
Now, under the bankrupt corporation system, yeah, in their fictional, in that counterfeit foreign corporation, copyrighted 1871, copyrighted United States, a foreign corporation, yeah.
They're allowed to do that.
But see, if they really wanted to write that damn 13th Amendment the right way, they could have addressed the attorneys not to be associated with foreign entities or state office people. But no, it was too damn vague because it had to be vague to try and include all the people. to take our titles of nobility away from us. That's what they were really trying to do. You go and listen to some of the audios, and you've got a bunch of them there, Tom, talking about what transpired, about what Jefferson told Washington, and back and forth between the two of them about these damn people that were trying to come in and destroy the system right from the get-go.
Patrick,
they didn't like the power that was given to the people. And it was primarily the bankers and the money changers, whatever. The big plantation owners, the corporations.
You're saying is why they omitted it or, quietly hid it.
No, that's why they initiated it to begin with. And then the Supreme Court had to say, nope, this is illegal, and take it off the books.
Okay.
But the Supreme Court could not act until somebody complained. And that somebody that complained didn't do it until basically around in the late 1930s or 1830s. So a bunch of the different states had that on their in their record books, but it was wrong.
I was under the impression that 13th Amendment was some opposition had gone into all the libraries and erased it. They didn't want it published because it would have prevented the attorneys from holding office. That was always my
that's
belief.
The wrong thing. It had nothing to do with the attorneys.
You surprised me when you came up with your definition.
Yeah, it was taking our title of nobility away from us. Think about it. That's the only thing that makes any damn sense.
Right. That was
they already had the stuff in the Constitution about titles of nobility out there for the attorneys. And then, nobody ever understood that the Constitution was the Emperor of America. They wanted to make George Washington King of America. But he can't be the King of America if the Constitution is the Emperor of America. And they basically studied the king system, the monarchy system, and then they also studied the emperor system out of China and Japan. But you don't hear all of that stuff. You only hear what they want you to hear. And then all this shit about trust law coming out of England, which is all bullshit. You never trust somebody else with your assets. And if you set up a trust, you can't be the beneficiary and the trustee at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to have some other person involved into the process. Now, do you really trust that other person? I wouldn't. I have a hard time keeping a rein on myself. Why would I try and keep a rein on somebody else? Hell, half the people out here think I'm totally out of control. Yeah, I'm a wild stallion. I'm running amok. Okay, any questions? Comments? General bullshit. Just don't mention trust.
I'm going to look up that word emoluments too. That's an important one too. Like
Emoluments.
That's the main things you talked about today.
Yeah, and it's right there in that 13th Amendment. And see, that is our duty of support that is due to us. When you take it all the way through the different words that you'll find leading you from one to another, to end up with duty of support. And then basically in Ballantyne's dictionary, it's really the last one. Most of the other ones are talking about it's the duty of the husband to support the wife and the children and all this and garbage and everything like that. Well, it's the very last definition in there. I think there was 4 under that item. And then you can look up guest in a motor vehicle, passenger, and say, yeah, it's no different than riding an escalator or an elevator. You turn the key, and basically then you sort of turn the system, but basically you're not operating the engine. You're not down there putting the spark and everything else to the engine. You're not operating the relay panels to make the elevator go all the way up to the top floor, or to make the escalator go around. You're just a passenger or a guest. You're not the owner and you're not the operator.
In the dictionary, emolument is spelled E-M-O-L-U-M-E-N-T, and it says in the late Middle English, it was a payment to a miller for grinding grain from the grind up thoroughly.
For services.
Yeah.
But there's more to it. I mean, you can find it in Ballantyne's Bouvier.
Yeah, that was the origin of the use of the word.
It's like a handling fee.
No, for grinding, yeah.
Your pay for services. And it's their duty to pay you. Because they're the obligor, and your creditor is the obligee, the one who has to receive the payment. You just didn't see that he was the middleman in all your paychecks that you were getting. And then they tried to claim that that was a benefit to you. And that's why you have to turn around and do counter claims in court cases against them. You then become the counter plaintiff, and they become the counter defendant. Then that banker or that prosecuting attorney, basically they have to complete the set-off. The appearance bonds have to be paid back to you. The traffic tickets have to be settled from the insurance policy that's being held by the garnishee, the prosecuting attorney. So you should always walk out of court on with traffic tickets with money in your back pocket or a check.
Patrick, does it help to bring your OID with you? And does it help to bring your OID with you and say, well, you guys got to pay the tax on this money that
No, you don't bring any OIDs with you. They take care of all that shit. Those 1099 and stuff, they're for them, not for us. We're the prince. The prince don't do fucking bullshit paperwork.
All right, so we'll forget about that shit from now on then.
Yes.
Right.
It's all for them, as they are the trustee for the bankrupt. The state of Iowa, state of New Hampshire, state of whatever. Or the United States Corporation. The trustee is now going to have to work his little butt off.
Forget about getting foreign TIN numbers and so forth.
Right. Forget about getting this world passport and all that shit. When you get out of the system and you get your patent claim, you will get a territorial United States of America patent, land patent, passport. And it'll probably be green.
The land patent is just what I need right now to get that code enforcement off my back.
Oh.
And they've kicked me out of my house.
Well, you do a counterclaim in the court system. You got a court case. Turn around and file a counterclaim against that prosecuting attorney, and they can pay the bill. Unless you have harmed somebody, done physical injury, it's all a charge that needs to be discharged, and you have to do a counterclaim to that prosecuting attorney to do the set-off.
What would that sound like?
Dave, you're overloading quite a bit.
Okay.
Get that. Pull back from the microphone.
Is this better?
That's better.
What kind of language would you use with that, Patrick?
Well, think about it. You write it up. You're supposed to be a creator. God gave you the senses and put you through school, didn't he?
Yeah, sometimes I just
start
blank out.
using some words. I've talked enough about this shit. Use the word garnishee in there, that they're the garnishee and that they're the ones that are the obligee. They're the bankrupt, and your fictional person is the creditor.
Yeah.
You can use sort of the B-10 as an example for that counter claim in a court system too.
The recent calls go over a lot of the different aspects of the B-10 that we're considering. You should go to them. We have recordings of all of them.
But you need to basically understand the setup on this B-10, not how I was telling you to fill out the other B-10s.
Right. But you did explain how to use them in various cases.
But yeah, I mean, you don't need to use the B-10. You take some of the information off the B-10 about the creditor and the debtor. The driver's license. Okay? Basically, it's an insurance policy. And I've addressed that in court cases already. I just didn't follow through with doing a counterclaim against the prosecuting attorney. He's not my trustee. He's the trustee for the bankrupt. The state of Iowa. That U.S. attorney in a court case is the trustee for the bankrupt United States. You have to do a counterclaim against him and make him pay the bill. Unless you've harmed somebody, It's all about money. You just have to make them pay the bill. Any other questions?
You're saying to alter the B10 form for different purposes, or do we use it just like it's written? Because I'm looking at your...
You basically can use some of the information that's on there. Debtor, creditor, who the payment needs to be made to. In your write-up, when you do a court write-up that you're going to submit into the court, you have to use somewhat their format, court format, when you do your counterclaim.
I was just looking at your one form here, your official free status lieu tax notice, and it says, as I filed a B-10 for the liquidation of all my withheld maritime vessel cargoes. So that's why I was wondering, what kind of B-10 did you use?
I've got to redo that B-10, okay, to where I talked about it tonight. I need to do 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one for the DOB, date of birth, one for my patent number, and then one for my military service, selective service number.
Okay.
Yeah, see, when you fill out this B-10 properly, and the United States makes the payment over to, like, this hospital or to the utility company or to the auto dealership, that U.S. trustee for the bankrupt is going to have to fill out a 1099 A, B, or C in the process. You don't have to do it.
So those 1099s are their internal bookkeeping, not anything we do.
Their internal bookkeeping, and basically it's from creditor to debtor in their system.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we don't have to do it. They will take care of it. They better take care of it. I've already gone around with the damn IRS on some of that shit. So that's all in your corporate world. That's not in my world. I'm supposed to be enjoying life. I'm not supposed to be hampered by your shit. You need to step out of the footsteps of that DOB and step into your birthing patent date. BERTH date. And then they won't see you. You're like a ghost.
Patrick?
Yeah.
So if you're filling out a passport application...
You don't fill it out. You get out of the system first, then they will basically help you get the passport.
Oh, okay.
After you get your patent claimed. No, you don't fill out that passport. They will help you if you want to redeposit your assets back into the emperor's treasury, okay, then they will set you up, and that's the depositary, ARY, account, the real assets, the prince's and the emperor's treasury. But you have to claim your land patent first before you're going to get the right passport.
Okay.
And then when you get your patent claimed and you get your bankrupts, you get out of the bankrupt system, your creditor comes out with all his credits. Now they will turn around and they will have to supply services to you properly in their offices, in their constitutional offices, not under their corporate placeholder offices. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. There's only one way to do this. There is not numerous different ways or anything like that. There's only one way. And Jesus came to show us that way and path. And that is this path that I'm trying to lay out here for you. Because, see, Jesus went to the bankruptcy court first, the temple court, and then basically they took him into the territorial court under Pilate, and Pilate found no fault with this man and sent him back to the bankruptcy court and said, close down those accounts. So he crucified those accounts, like what we're trying to do is liquidate them, but the term back then in the Roman time, 2,000 years ago, was to crucify a document with a red cross on it. And then Jesus stepped into his patent shoes and out of his date of birth shoes, and he disappeared right in front of everybody. Because they were looking for the corporate person to fill those DOB shoes, and he wasn't there. See, that's the shoes that Dorothy was wearing in The Wizard of Oz. She was wearing her patented shoes. Her land patent shoes. The ruby slippers. Red, white, and blue. That's why the witch couldn't do anything to her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does to me.
Well, when you figured out the word patent, that was a big one. I mean, that was just about a week or two ago.
Yeah. And basically we were completely missing that, and nobody else was saying anything about it. And then garnishee. Basically, yeah. Only the state of Massachusetts uses the word trustee in that position. All the other states are supposed to be using garnishee, just like the English system out there was using, because that's really where these land barons, these dead body land barons, bar attorneys operate from, is under the English law system, because they're all foreign barons. They just don't know it. And they're just quackers of law. Just like half the damn doctors are quackers of medicine. Push the drugs, push the drugs. Man-made drugs, push them, push them. Oh, they're free, they're free. You can get them free over here. Bullshit, you're still ended up paying for them somehow or other. You just don't know how they're doing it. Well, I do know how they're doing it, and I told the damn doctor that.
Yeah, they wreck a lot of people. They kill probably a couple 100,000 people a year.
Yeah, they keep them under a controlled system. Put them on these drugs, and basically then life-threatening drugs. Now, if you come off these drugs, you're going to die. But you never should have been on them to begin with. There was other processes to take care of the illness, rather than putting you on these drugs.
I got a friend that just came back from Hawaii. He went over there to visit a brother-in-law who had some problems with his heart valve, and they gave him some drugs, and all his muscles in his whole body are like shutting down. It just like ate up his muscles or makes his muscles not work. Now he's pretty much immobile.
Yeah, but they'll keep him alive in the system as long as they can bleed money out of him.
Yeah. We all read about somebody getting vaccinated every week that dies from a vaccination.
Yeah.
Children become autistic and everything else.
I haven't taken one of those damn shots in well over 20 years.
Yeah. I wouldn't take any shots. So the state's the garnishee, and we end up making the claim, so
no,
they can't
the attorneys are the garnishees.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
The bar is the garnishee. The barons, the state or the United States, they're the bankrupts.
Okay.
That owe the payment to us, the duty of support, by either having an insurance policy or whatever out there, utilizing our assets for their benefit. They're the beneficiary, not us.
Yeah.
They're getting the beneficial usage of our assets. You're not getting any benefits whatsoever from these corporations. They are under an obligation or an oath to you to make a payment. An oath is a promise or an obligation. That's the oath that basically all of these people that are running around here want oath of offices. Well, they ain't even in an office, and you're trying to get them to give you an oath? You need to do the cross action to get them to comply with their obligation.
A baron is a title of honor, often hereditary, and ranks as one of the lowest titles in various nobility systems. But it's still a title of nobility.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about here, really.
No, we were just talking about that with garnishes and you were saying the attorneys.
Yeah, but they're
and
the land barons, okay?
Yeah.
They're the barons, okay? And they're the court agents in the system.
Court agents, right.
And we're the princes, just like in the movie The Merchant of Venice.
Yeah.
Whose court was it? It was the Prince of Venice's court. The merchant was the fictional person for the other guy.
Yeah.
But yet the Jew wanted a pound of flesh, and he can't get a pound of flesh from the living.
Right.
Because he would draw blood.
Right, and there was a clause at the end where the doctor of medicine and law stated that since you wouldn't accept or you defaulted on the offer of twice the amount of gold, then...
And refused it twice,
yeah.
2 times. Not only once, but twice, when it was offered to them.
Right. Then he defaults, and then his estate got divided in half, and half to the court and half to the victim that he tried to get the pound of flesh from.
Right.
So he lost his estate for being in dishonor.
Yeah. Shakespeare did a good job in quite a few of those different plays if you know how to read and interpret what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it was classic, totally classic, that's for sure.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments? Okay, call tonight, Tom.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick. I need to go over with you the files you're talking about are on the 2 gigabyte stick I sent you. They're probably on the 16, and I don't have those gathered into one directory, so we'll have to go over what it is.
I'll let you know which ones they are. I got to go back through and find them again.
Very good. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Good night.